Hi everyone, in this video, we're going through Edexcel International GCSE, June 2024, Mathematics B, Paper 2R. Let's look at the first question. Okay, question number 1. Gary buys furniture and sells it in a shop. In the shop on Monday, Gary has tables and chairs such that number of tables is to number of chairs is equal to 2:7. So we have the ratio of tables to chairs, 2:7. So more chairs, less tables. Gary has 42 chairs in the shop on Monday, the same day. He has 42 chairs. Calculate the number of tables Gary has in the shop on Monday. So he has 42 chairs. How many tables does he have according to the ratio? So let's convert the ratio into fraction. The ratio 2:7 can be written as fraction 2/7. This is equal to the number of tables T over the number of chairs C. So for Monday, we know the number of chairs we have, that is 42, and we can substitute that here. So we'll say 2/7 is equal to T over 42. And we want to find the number of tables, so we'll make T the subject of the equation. T is equal to, we'll move 42 to the other side. 42 times 2/7. So T is equal to 12. So we have 12 tables on Monday. So that was the number of tables Gary had in the shop on Monday. Let's look at question B. Gary buys a table for $240 and sells it for $276. Calculate the percentage profit from the sale of the table. We need to calculate the percentage profit. Percentage profit equals to, how do we set up the equation for percentage profit? The profit divided by the original cost. This is the fraction of the profit based on original cost. And we want to convert this fraction to percentage. So what do? We multiply by 100. So let's put the values in this formula. Percentage profit equals profit. So what's a profit? That is 276 minus 240. 276 minus 240. Divided by the original cost. The original cost is 240 times 100. And this gives us 36. That's a profit divided by 240 times 100. And we can solve this using a calculator. That gives us 15, and this is percent. Fraction times 100 gives us the percentage. So percentage profit is 15%. Let's move on to question C. So let's read question C. Gary buys some chairs and sells them for $513. So that's a selling price of chairs. Gary's percentage profit from the sale of chairs is 35%. So he is already making a profit of 35%. By selling these chairs. Calculate the price at which Gary bought the chairs. So we need to calculate the cost price. The cost price is the original. We always treat the original to be 100% when we use percentage. We can say the cost is 100%. The selling price, what is the selling price? Since he has made a profit of 35%, his selling price in terms of percent would be 100 plus 35%, which is 135%. So this is in terms of percentage. We know the cost in terms of percentage. We know the selling price in terms of percentage. But we want to find the cost in terms of dollars. We know the selling price in terms of dollars. So selling price is $513. We want to find the cost in terms of dollars. We can set up an equation using fractions. So we can say the cost price, C, let's say CP, cost price, over the selling price, which is $513, is equal to the proportion of percentages. So cost price percentage is 100%. The selling price percentage is 135. And then if we make this the cost price the subject of the equation, CP, we will get 100 over 135 times 513. This gives us $380, and that's the original cost price. That means he bought the chairs at $380. He sold them for $513 each, clearly making a profit, and that profit is 35%. Let's move on to D. Question D. The cost of a table that Gary buys is $732. Okay, so this is a different table than what we did in B. This new table costs $732. An identical table costs 684 euros in France. Using the exchange rate, which is $1 equal to 0.95 euros, find the difference in the cost of the tables. State whether your answer is in euros or dollars. So we need to find the difference in the costs. So the one Gary bought, he had to pay $732. The same table costs 684 euros. To make comparisons, we need to have the costs in the same currency. So if we look at the exchange rate, $1 equals 0.95 euros, it's easier to convert dollars into euros. So let's convert $732 into euros first. So Gary's cost price is $732, and we'll convert this into euros. We'll multiply this with 0.95. This gives us 695.4 euros. 695.4 euros. The cost price in France is equal to 684 euros. 684 euros. The question was, what's the difference between the cost price? We can say difference is equal to 695, that's the bigger value, minus the smaller value, 684. And this gives us 11.4 euros. And that's the answer for D. Question number 2. Let's read the question. Figure 1 shows a hexagon ABCDEL. ABCDEL. We can see the angles. It's not a regular hexagon. Two angles are different. These two angles are the same though. And we can also see a regular octagon EFGHIJKL. Yes, so the octagon has 8 sides, hexagon has 6 sides. The octagon here is a regular octagon, meaning all the angles are equal in the octagon. Angle BAL is equal to ABC. BAL is this one, equals to ABC is equal to CDE, DEL. So these 4 angles are equal at 125 degrees. The next one says angle BCD is equal to angle ALE. BCD, this one, is equal to ALE, this one. Yes, we can see that. And angle ALK, this one here is equal to y degrees. And question A says, calculate the value of y. We need to calculate this angle y. To do that, we need to figure out the other angles. The interior angle of the regular octagon, we need to calculate that. And we'll need to calculate this angle within the hexagon. Now, let's start with the hexagon. We can calculate the sum of interior angles of a hexagon using a formula. In general, the formula is sum of interior angle equals n minus 2 times 180, where n represents the number of sides. For the hexagon, that's going to be 6 minus 2, 4 times 180, and that's equal to 720. So for the hexagon, the sum of interior angles is 720 degrees. So we can subtract 125 times 4 from 720, and the answer we get has to be divided by 2. So we can say angle ALE is equal to 720 minus 4 times 125 divided by 2. This gives us 110 degrees. 110 degrees. Next, we need to calculate the interior angle of a regular octagon. So for octagon, we can use the same formula. This time, let's calculate the interior angle straight away. So interior angle formula would be n minus 2 times 180. This is the sum of interior angles. But since this is a regular octagon, we can just divide by the number of sides to get the value of one angle. So n is 8 here. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 times 180 divided by 8 will give us the size of one interior angle. This gives us 135 degrees. That means angle KLE is 135 degrees. 135 degrees. Now we can calculate angle Y because we can subtract 110 degrees and 135 degrees from 360 degrees to get angle y. So we can say, therefore, y is equal to 360 degrees minus 135 minus 110. This gives us 115 degrees. And that's the answer for y, 115 degrees. Let's look at question B. Question B, a different regular polygon has t sides and is such that the expression for an interior angle is 10x plus 25 and an exterior angle is equal to 7x minus 83. X is an unknown. The question says calculate the value of t, where t is the number of sides. Whatever polygon this is, if we have the expressions for interior angle and the exterior angle, we can solve the exact values first, the exact values of the interior angle and the exterior angle. How do we do that? So let's assume we have this section of the polygon. This would be the interior angle, which is 10x plus 25 degrees. And this extension will help us visualize the exterior angle. The exterior angle is 7x minus 83. So if we look at the relationship between these two, they both should add up to 180 degrees because they lie on a straight line. So we can use that. We can use that to calculate the exact values of the interior angle and the exterior angle. The interior angle 10x plus 25 plus the exterior angle 7x minus 83. 7x minus 83 is equal to 180 degrees. Let's solve for x here. 17x is equal to 180 minus 25 plus 83. X is equal to all of this divided by 17. So let's use the calculator. And this gives us 14. X is equal to 14. Now we can find the exact interior angle value. Interior angle would be equal to 10 times 14 plus 25, which is 140 plus 25, 165 degrees. And then the exterior angle is equal to 7 times 14 minus 83. So this gives us 15 degrees. The exterior angle is 15 degrees. Okay, now we need to figure out the number of sides of this polygon. It's easier to use the exterior angle formula. Let's go with that. So the exterior angle formula is 360 degrees divided by the number of sides, t, is equal to the exterior angle, which is 15 degrees. So we can swap t and 15, and that gives us 360 degrees over 15 degrees, which is 24. This polygon has 24 number of sides. That's question B. Okay, question 3. Triangle A and triangle B are drawn on the grid opposite. Question A, describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. So transformation that maps A onto B, and it has to be a single transformation. Let's have a look. So if we look at the shape, it's the same size. So it is not an enlargement. It has been rotated. And if we imagine A to be rotated 90 degrees anti-clockwise, we will see this shape. That means the transformation is rotation by 90 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction. But we still need to find the center. Where is the center of rotation? Okay, so let's focus on this vertex on A and the corresponding vertex on B. Could this be the center? If I draw a line from the center to the vertex on A and the corresponding line for the vertex on B, I see that the angle of rotation would be 180 degrees. So this doesn't work. We need to look at the center that causes a 90 degrees anti-clockwise rotation. So this line looks good because it's right in between the two vertices. So maybe to cause an anti-clockwise rotation, it should be a bit lower. Could it be this point? So we draw the line from the center to the vertex and the same to vertex B. This still does not look like 90 degrees. Let's go a point further down. maybe here, -1, -1. If we draw the line from the center to the vertex and to the corresponding vertex on B, yes, this one looks like a 90-degree angle. It's like this vertex has been rotated through 90 degrees anti-clockwise to reach the vertex at B. So it should be this point, but let's check the other vertices as well. So for now, let's confirm that this is the point -1, 1. And let's check the other vertices. So what about the vertex here? The corresponding vertex on B would be this. So again, if we draw the line between the center and the vertex, the same for B, yes. Again, this shows that it is 90 degrees. Let's do the same for the last set of vertices, just to confirm. So this vertex here, and the corresponding vertex on B would be here. Let's draw the line from here to the center, from the center to the vertex. We do the same for B, and again, we see that these two lines are perpendicular and it forms a 90-degree angle. So we can confirm that the center of rotation is -1, -1. So the answer for A would be 90 degrees anti-clockwise rotation, with the center of rotation being -1, -1. That is the answer for A. Let's look at question B. Triangle A is transformed to triangle C by a reflection in the line with y equals -1. On the grid, draw and label triangle C. This is a reflection in the line with equation y equals -1. So let's draw the line y equals -1. Let's locate where it is. It should be here, where all the y coordinates are equal to -1 on this line, y equals -1. And we need to transform triangle A. We need to reflect triangle A in this line. So how do we do that? So we'll look at the vertices, all the 3 vertices. We'll just draw a line from the vertex to y equals -1 line. And since this needs to be reflected, it'll be reflected to the other side with the same distance away. So the corresponding vertex should be here. We can do the same for the second vertex, should be here. So the third vertex is 4 units away. The vertex on the image should also be 4 units away from the line. So the third vertex should be here. Now, if we connect these vertices, we'll get the image for this transformation. And these should be drawn using a ruler. That is question B. We need to label it. It is called triangle C. Okay, now let's look at question C. Triangle A is transformed to triangle D by an enlargement with center 0,3 and scale factor 2. Let's look at 0,3 first. So let me use a different color for this question C. Where is 0,3? 0,3 would be here. So from this point, triangle A would be enlarged. How do we do that? We will draw dashed lines from the center to the vertices. So let's start with the first vertex. So this is the first vertex from the center. And because the scale factor is 2, the vertex on the image will be located at a distance twice of this line, 2 times this line. So the image will be located in the same direction, but the distance would be twice as long. So that's the image of the first vertex. Let's do the second one, the distance from the center to the second vertex, and its image would be twice as far from the center in the same direction. So there. And the last vertex, it's 3 units away horizontally, the original. The image would be twice as far, so it'll be 6 units away from the center. So we have located the vertices of the image, and we can connect the vertices with a straight line. So this is going to be triangle D. Let's connect the vertices. We should be using a ruler. And this is triangle D. We should label D. And yes, if we compare the length of the sides, the lengths have increased by 2 times. That is question C. Let's look at question D. Triangle A is transformed to triangle E under the transformation with matrix M, where the matrix is given. On the grid, draw and label triangle E. Okay, so A will be transformed to triangle E, we need to work out the coordinates of triangle E after the transformation. So let's solve the coordinates of triangle E using matrices. So transformation matrix M times the coordinates of triangle A will be equal to the coordinates of triangle E, according to the theory. So let's write down the matrices. -2, 1, 0, -2 times the coordinates of A. Let's check the coordinates of A. So coordinates of A, the first one is 1, 1. Let's write 1, 1. So x value 1, y value 1. The second vertex has coordinates 2, 1. X value 2, y value 1. The third vertex has coordinates 3, 3. So 3 and 3. And if we multiply these two matrices, we'll get the coordinates of triangle E. Let's check if we can multiply these two matrices. The transformation matrix is 2 by 2. The coordinates of A matrix is 2 rows and 3 columns. Since these two values are equal, we can proceed with the multiplication. And the product that we'll get would be a 2 by 3 matrix. So we'll get a 2 by 3 matrix, and we'll have 6 different values in these positions. So let's multiply. To get the value of this position, we need to multiply the first row of the first matrix with the first column of the second matrix. That will be -2 times 1 is -2. 1 times 1 is 1. So -2 plus 1. We'll do the same for the remaining positions. So to get the value of this position, we'll have to multiply the first row of the first matrix with the second column of the second matrix. So -2 times 2 is -4. 1 times 1 is +1. And we'll do the same for the rest. -2 times 3, -6. And 1 times 3 is 3. Second row, first column. So 0 times 1 is 0. -2 times 1 is -2. The next position, 0 times 2 is 0. -2 times 1 is -2. In the last position, second row, third column, 0 times 3 is 0. -2 times 3 is -6. Okay, so we end up getting this matrix -1, -3, -3, -2, -2, -6. So these are the coordinates of triangle E. The first vertex is -1, -2. Let's use a different color for this. -1, -2, where is it? That's the first one, -1, -2. The second one, -3, -2. -3, -2 is here. And then the last one, -3, -6. -3, -6 would be here. And if we connect these, I will get the triangle E. This is triangle E. And that's it. Let's move to question 4. Question number 4. A. Solve the inequality 4x plus 3 less than or equal to 31. 4x plus 3 less than or equal to 31. So we can move 3 to the other side. It becomes 4x less than or equal to 31 minus 3. And then we can move 4 to the other side. X is less than or equal to 31 minus 3 is 28. If we move 4 to the other side, it will divide 28. 28 over 4, and that is x less than or equal to 7. Question B. Solve the inequality 1 less than 2x plus 3 less than 21. We can split this inequality into two parts. The first one is 1 less than 2x plus 3. The other one is 2x plus 3 less than 21. And we can solve them separately. So this one would be 2x plus 3 greater than 1. 2x greater than, if we move 3 to the other side, it'll be 1 minus 3, which is minus 2. X will be greater than minus 2 over 2, which is minus 1. Okay, the next one. 2x will be less than 21 minus 3, which is 18. X will be less than 18 over 2, which is 9. So we get two inequalities. X has to be greater than minus 1, and x has to be less than 9. So we can present this in a different way. We can say minus 1 less than x less than 9. And that's the answer for B. Question C, hence, represent on the number line opposite the set of values of x for which 4x plus 3 is less than or equal to 31, which is the inequality in A, and the next one is the inequality in B. So we've already found the solutions for the top two inequalities. We need to find the solutions that work for both the inequalities. So question C would be x has to be less than or equal to 7, and x should be between minus 1 and 9. So it needs to satisfy both the inequalities. So we can draw these two inequalities on the number line and see how it looks. Let's use a pencil, by the way, just to see how it looks like. So the first one would be x less than or equal to 7. If it's a less than or equal to sign, we'll use a solid dot or a black dot, and that represents x less than or equal to 7. The next one ranges from minus 1 to 9. So since there is no equal sign, it's just less than, we will start from minus 1 with a white dot, and we'll end at 9 with the white dot as well. So the ultimate solution would be everything that is overlapping, meaning the final solution would range from minus 1 less than, because it's a white dot, x less than or equal to 7. So let's erase this and let's draw the ultimate solution. So we start at minus 1 and we end at 7. At minus 1, we will have a white dot. At 7, we'll have a black dot. And that's it. Let's move to question 5. A. Complete the table of values for y equals 2x cubed minus 5x plus 3. So this is a cubic equation, and we need to fill in this table. There are two rows, one for x, the other for y. X values range from minus 2 to 2, and we need to find the corresponding y values. So let's use our calculator to calculate the y values. When x is equal to minus 2, what is y? So we'll simply press this on the calculator. 2 times minus 2 the whole cubed minus 5 times minus 2 plus 3. So we're replacing x with minus 2 in the equation. And this gives us minus 3 when x is equal to minus 2. If x value is equal to 1, y value is equal to 0. Okay, if we replace x with 2, we get 9. So we have completed the table. Question B. On the grid opposite, plot the points from your completed table and join them to form a smooth curve. X values range from minus 2 to 2. Y values range from, the minimum value is minus 3. The maximum value is 9. So it ranges from minus 3 to 9. And if we look at the decimals, we have to accommodate for decimals as small as 0.25, because we have values like 3.75, 5.25, etc. So let's just plot the points. X equals minus 2, y equals minus 3 would be here. Next one, when x equals minus 1.5, y is 3.75. X equals 1, minus 1.5 is there. 3.75, so this would be 3. We have 5 squares between 3 and 4. So each square accounts for 0.2. So 3, 3.2, 3.4, 3.6, 3.8, and then 4. So 3.75 would be somewhere here. So that is 3.75 roughly. Okay. Next point, minus 1, 6. So minus 1, 6 would be here. Negative 0.5, 5.25. So this is 5. The next square would be 5.2 and should be somewhere here. We have 0, 3, 0, 3, 0.5, 0.75. 0.5 is here, 0.75 would be here. And then 1, 0, 1, 0, 1.5, 2.25, 1.5, 2.25, and the last point, 2.9, 2.9 would be that. And we've plotted the points. We need to connect the points using a smooth curve. Since it's a cubic equation, we can figure out the shape. It's going to look something like this. And we'll keep that in mind, and we'll try and fit this shape through the plots. I'll use a different color. So we have connected the plots using a smooth curve. I've tried my best to make it smooth, but it should be good enough. Question C, by drawing a suitable straight line on your grid, find estimates to one decimal place for the solutions of the equation 2x cubed minus 5x plus 3 equals to 2 in the range from -2 to 2 for x. So if we look at this equation, this is basically the curve that we just drew, y equals 2x cubed minus 5x plus 3. And this has been equated to another equation, which is y equals 2. And y equals 2 would be a straight line, a horizontal line. So equating these two equations means that we need to find the intersection points of these two lines. We already have the curve. We just need to draw y equals 2 line. So y equals 2 just passes through y value of 2. Let's look at the intersection points. We get 3 different intersection points. This one, and this one. So since we need to find the solutions, we need to get the x values of these intersection points. So the first one here is roughly between -2 and -1.5. We have 5 squares. So each square has a value of 0.1. So that this is -1.5, -1.6, -1.7, and so on. And this looks like it's between -1.6 and 7. Let's go with -1.6 for this. -1.6. The next one is here, and this is between 0.1 and 0.2. Let's go with 0.2 for this one. And the last point is at 1.5, roughly. So the 3 solutions would be -1.6, 0.2, and 1.5. So for question C, the solutions are approximately -1.6, 0.2, and 1.5. Okay, question number 6. 80 gardeners were asked if they grow potatoes, carrots, or lettuce. Of these gardeners, 9 grow potatoes, carrots, and lettuce. We have other information as well. Let's read question A first. Using this information, complete the Venn diagram below to show the number of gardeners in each subset. So we have a Venn diagram and we have 3 subsets. P for potatoes, C for carrots, L for lettuce. And we need to complete the Venn diagram, and we need to show the number of gardeners in each subset. 9 gardeners grow potatoes, carrots, and lettuce. So we need to find the subset where all 3 circles overlap, and this is the place. So this is the intersection of all 3 circles, potatoes, carrots, and lettuce. 9 gardeners there. Next one, 17 grow potatoes and carrots. So the area that represents potatoes and carrots is this. Altogether, there are 17 gardeners in this area. We have already accounted for 9. So the remaining area goes towards 17 minus 9, which is 8. So 8 gardeners grow potatoes and carrots only. 9 gardeners grow potatoes, carrots, and lettuce as well. Okay, next, 23 grow carrots and lettuce. Carrots and lettuce is represented by this area. 9 gardeners have already been accounted for. The rest would be 23 minus 9, which is 14. So 14 gardeners grow carrots and lettuce only. Next, 19 grow potatoes and lettuce. Potatoes and lettuce is represented by this area. So 19. 9 out of 19 has been accounted for. Only 10 remain. Next, 48 grow carrots. The circle for carrots represent 48 gardeners. Some of the gardeners have been represented. We need to subtract 48 minus 8 minus 9 minus 14 to get the number of gardeners who only grow carrots. That gives us 17. So this is 17. Number of gardeners who only grow carrots is 17. Next, 49 grow lettuce. So out of 49, there are other gardeners growing other things. 14, 9 minus 10 minus 9 minus 14. This gives us 16. There are 16 gardeners who only grow lettuce. 2 grow none of these crops. So there are 2 gardeners who don't grow any of these. So they should be outside the 3 circles. 2. How many gardeners do we have altogether? We have 80 gardeners. We still need to fill in the number of gardeners who only grow potatoes. So we can subtract all of these numbers from 80. So we'll do 80 minus 8 minus 17 minus 9 minus 10 minus 14 minus 16 minus 2. And this gives us 4. So there are 4 gardeners who only grow potatoes. And we have a complete Venn diagram now. Question A is done. Next, question B. Find the number of C intersect L prime. So let's figure out this intersection first. C intersect L prime. What is it? What area does it represent? So C is represented by this area. This is C. And this area will be intersecting L prime. What is L prime? Let's shade L prime with a different color. So L prime would be area outside of L. So everything outside of L looks like this. Okay. So if we look carefully, we can see the area that represents the intersection of red lines and green lines. Let's have a look. So this area shows us the intersection of red lines and green lines, and we need to find the number. So we'll say B, and number of C intersect L prime is equal to 8 plus 17, which is 25. So basically these are gardeners who grow carrots, but not lettuce. Let's move to question C. One of the gardeners is chosen at random. Given that this gardener grows carrots, question C, find the probability that this gardener also grows lettuce. So we need to calculate the probability that the gardener grows lettuce given that the gardener already grows carrots. So out of all the carrot gardeners, how many are lettuce gardeners? So there are 2 ways to look at this. So the first way is, let's count the total number of carrot gardeners. So how many grow carrots? 48 grow carrots. So let's put that in the denominator. Out of 48 gardeners, how many grow lettuce? So gardeners who grow carrots. Out of these, how many grow lettuce? These are the ones growing lettuce out of these. So how many lettuce gardeners do we have in this? 14 plus 9, that is 23. So 23 gardeners are growing lettuce out of all the carrot gardeners. And this is the probability. Can we simplify this any further? We can't, because 23 is a prime number, but we can check it on our calculator. Yes, we cannot. This is the probability. We can leave the probability as a fraction, 23 over 48. Another way to look at this would be by using a formula for conditional probabilities. So probability of L given C is equal to probability of L intersect C divided by probability of C. This can be converted to number of L intersect C divided by number of C. What's the intersection of lettuce and carrots? So L intersect C is 23. Number of L intersect C is 23 divided by number of C is 48 altogether. If we add all of them, 8 plus 17 plus 9 plus 14 gives us 48. So 23 over 48, and we get the same answer. So both the methods are fine. You can use any method you like. So question number 7, we have matrices. A, B, and C. Question A, find 4A plus 2B. So 4 times matrix A plus 2 times matrix B. So that's equal to 4 times 10 minus 6 minus 8, 5, plus 2 times minus 15, 10, 14, minus 5. So we'll multiply the numbers into the bracket. So the first bracket becomes 40 minus 24 minus 32, 20. The second bracket becomes minus 30, 20, 28, and minus 10. And we need to add these two matrices. So the first one is 40 minus 30, 10. Minus 24 plus 20 is minus 4. Minus 32 plus 28 is minus 4 again. 20 plus minus 10 is 20 minus 10 is 10. So that's the answer for A. Let's look at question B. So question B is find A times C. So matrix A, 10 minus 6 minus 8, 5, times C, 1 minus 3, 1, 2, minus 4, minus 2. So we need to multiply these two matrices. So we'll check the size. The first one is a 2 by 2 matrix. The second one is 2 rows and 3 columns, 2 by 3. Since these two numbers are the same, we can proceed with a multiplication. The size of the product will be a 2 by 3 matrix. So 2 rows, 3 columns. We'll have 6 elements altogether. So we'll have to multiply rows with columns. So the rows of the first matrix multiplies with the columns of the second matrix. So let's calculate the element for the first spot. So 10 times 1 is 10, minus 6 times 2 is minus 12, which is minus 2. Now the second spot, the first row times the second column. So 10 times minus 3 is minus 30, minus 6 times minus 4 is plus 24. Minus 30 plus 24 gives us minus 6. And now the third spot, first row times third column. So 10 times 1 is 10. Minus 6 times minus 2 is plus 12. So that gives us 22. 10 plus 12 is 22. 22. Now the bottom row. For this, we need to multiply the second row with the first column. Minus 8 times 1 is minus 8. 5 times 2 is 10. So minus 8 plus 10 gives us 2. So 2. The next spot is for second row times second column. Minus 8 times minus 3 is 24. Plus 5 times minus 4 is minus 20. So 24 minus 20. And this gives us 4. The last spot is for the second row times the last column. Minus 8 times 1 is minus 8. 5 times minus 2 is minus 10. So minus 8 minus 10 gives us minus 18. Minus 18. And that's the answer for A times C. Let's look at question C. Find the matrix D such that A inverse plus D is equal to 2 times identity matrix, where I is 1, 0, 0, 1. So we have an equation where the inverse of A is added to D, and that gives 2 times I. From this equation, we need to calculate the matrix D. Let's write down the equation first. A inverse plus D equals 2I. So it's question C. So A inverse plus D equals 2I. Since we need to solve for D, we'll need to isolate D. So we can move A inverse to the other side. So D is equal to 2I minus A inverse. Doing this will get us the matrix D. So we already know what I is. I is equal to 1, 0, 0, 1. But we need to calculate the inverse for A. How do we do that? The matrix for A is 10 minus 6 minus 8 and 5. To find the inverse, we have to find the determinant. The formula is A inverse equals 1 over determinant of A times, we'll have to switch positions. We will swap these two, 10 and 5. swap positions, 5, 10, and then we need to multiply this diagonal with -1 so that they become 6, 8. So we still need to find the determinant. The formula for determinant is AD minus BC. For example, if we have a matrix A, B, C, D, this means the determinant of this matrix gives us AD minus BC. So let's find it. So we can say determinant of A is equal to AD minus BC. So A is 10, D is 5, AD minus BC. B is -6 times C is -8. So we have 50 minus 6 times 8. The minus signs cancel. 6 times 8 is 48, and the determinant of A equals 2. So the inverse of A is 1/2, 5, 6, 8, 10, which can be simplified to 5/2, 3, 4, and 5. So finally, D would be equal to 2 times I would be 2002 minus 5/2, 3, 4, 5. So if we solve this, 2 minus 5/2, which is the same as 2.5, is -half. 0 minus 3 is -3. 0 minus 4 is -4. 2 minus 5 is -3. We can show the final answer in decimals as well. So -half becomes -0.5, -3, -4, -3. And that's our final answer. Question number 8. Alia delivers letters and parcels. Last week, Alia worked for 5 days and wrote down 5 integers that represent the distance in miles she drove each day. So 5 integers. Okay, for those integers, the mode is 15, the median is 16, and the range, which is the largest minus the smallest, is 7. Find 5 integers that Alia could have written down. So the mode is 15, the median is 16, and we need 5 integers. So let's place 16 at the middle. So we have 2 spaces to the left, 2 spaces to the right of 16. Since 15 is smaller than 16, and 15 is the mode, 2 of the integers need to be 15. So the first 2 integers should be 15. So we have the mode 15, we have the median, the middle number 16. What about the next 2 numbers? At the last point, the range should be equal to 7. So the smallest number right now is 15, and the largest number should be 7 more than 15. So 15 plus 7 would be 22. So 22 should be the largest number. What about the 4th number? So this number has to be between 16 and 22. It cannot be 16 or 22, otherwise 15 wouldn't be a mode anymore. So it could be any number between 16 and 22. Let's go with 17. That's question A. Question B. Alia has 8 letters to deliver to Tom. The mean weight of the 8 letters is 104 grams. Okay. 5 of the letters are each of weight 89 grams, 5 of them. The mean weight of the remaining letters, which are 3, the mean weight of the 3 remaining letters is A grams. We need to work out the value of A. First of all, we can calculate the total weight of 8 letters. So we can say total weight of 8 letters. So how do we calculate this? We will multiply 8 with the mean weight. The mean weight is 104 grams. So 8 times 104 will give us the total weight of 8 letters. But there's another way to calculate the total weight of 8 letters. It is divided into 5 letters having a weight of 89 grams. So we can continue this equation. On the left-hand side, we can say 5 times 89 plus, and the remaining 3 have a mean weight of A grams. So we can say 5 times 89 plus the remaining 3 times the mean weight A grams. These will add up to the total weight of 8 letters, which is equal to 8 times 104. Here we have an equation with one unknown, and we can solve this. So let's continue. 3A is equal to 8 times 104. Subtract 5 times 89. And A would be equal to 832, 445, and this will be divided by 3. So A is equal to 129 grams. So the mean weight of the remaining 3 letters is 129 grams. Okay, next we have a histogram. So the histogram shows information about the weights of all the parcels Alia has in her delivery van on Friday. Frequency, density, y-axis, weight is the x-axis. 75 of the parcels in the van each have a weight between 2 kilograms and 6 kilograms. Then it says, Alia takes 2 parcels at random from the van. Question C is find an estimate for the probability that both parcels weigh more than 4 kilograms. Okay, so first we need to figure out total number of parcels and the number of parcels that weigh more than 4 kilograms. We can use this first statement that between 2 and 6 kilograms, we have 75 parcels. So we know that in a histogram, area of a histogram is proportional to the frequency. So we'll use that. Let's count the number of squares we have. We can count the centimeter squares, these ones. How many such squares do we have between 2 and 6 kilograms? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's write that down. So 15 centimeter squares represent 75 parcels. So we want to know how many parcels are represented by 1 centimeter square. So 1 cm square is equal to 75 divided by 15. We get 5. So 1 centimeter square represents 5 parcels. To find the probability that the parcels weigh more than 4 kilograms, we'll have to count the total number of parcels that Alia has in her delivery van on Friday. So we have already counted the 15 squares. Let's count more. So how many more centimeter squares do we have altogether? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 more. The total number of parcels is equal to, so earlier we had 15 squares. Now we just counted 14 extra squares. And each square represents 5 parcels. So that would be 29 times 5 altogether. And this gives us 145. So we have 145 parcels altogether. Now we need to find the number of parcels that weigh more than 4 kilograms to calculate the probability. So from this point onwards, how many squares do we have? Let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We have 18 squares representing parcels weighing more than 4 kilograms. Number of parcels weighing more than 4 kg is equal to 18 times 5. 18 times 5 gives us 90. 90 parcels weigh more than 4 kilograms. Let's read the probability question again. So Alia takes 2 parcels at random from the van. She's going to take 2 parcels. Find an estimate for the probability that both parcels weigh more than 4 kilograms. So she's going to pick 2 parcels out of 145 parcels. Let's calculate the first probability. Probability of picking a parcel greater than 4 kilogram would be, so probability is equal to number of desired outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. So total number of parcels is 145. Desired outcomes, meaning parcels weighing more than 4 kilograms, is 90. So 90 over 145 is the probability of picking 1 parcel. But probability of picking 2 such parcels back to back can be calculated this way. So probability of 2 parcels greater than 4 kilogram. Picking the first one would have a probability of 90 over 145. The next one would be 1 less. So there'll be 1 less parcel for the second time. So it'll be 89. And there'll be 1 less parcel overall. So 89 over 144. And this will give us a probability of picking 2 back-to-back parcels weighing more than 4 kilograms. Gives us 89 over 2, 3, 2. And that should be the answer. Okay, question 9. Figure 2 shows the points P, Q, R, and T on a circle center O. Okay, angle POR is 160 degrees. Yes, angle at the center. Angle ORT is 37. Okay, question A1. Work out the size in degrees of angle PTR. Angle PTR. We need to calculate this. And we can clearly see that we have the angle at the center, and angle PTR is the angle at the circumference. And we can use the rule. We can say angle PTR is equal to 160 divided by 2. This is equal to 80. Number 2 says, give a reason for your answer. The reason is the angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference. And that's what we need to say. That's why angle PTR is half of angle POR. Angle at the center is twice the angle at circumference. Let's look at B. Question B, work out the size in degrees of angle TPO. Angle TPO, this one. So if we look at the shape PORT, that's a four-sided polygon, a quadrilateral. The angle sum of interior angles would be 360 degrees. So we need to work out angle POR first. So we can say angle POR is equal to, angle at a point is 360. So we can say 360 minus 160 degrees is equal to 200 degrees. So angle POR is 200. Angle PTR is 80. We can calculate the last remaining angle, angle TPO. Therefore, angle TPO is equal to 360 subtract 280 and 37. 280 and 37. If we subtract all of these, we will get 43. So angle TPO is 43 degrees. That is B. Question 9 continued. The sector OPQR is cut out from the circle in figure 2. OPQR, okay? OPQR, okay. A hollow right circular cone is formed by joining OP and OR together. So they form a cone using this sector by joining this length OP and OR together. So if we join OP and OR, we will get a cone. Where are these lines OP and OR on the cone? So the lines OP and OR are connected at that point to form a cone. Okay, then the curved surface area of the cone is 196 over 25 pi centimeter squared. Question C, calculate the volume in centimeter cubed to 3 significant figures of the cone. We need to calculate the volume of this cone. So volume of cone is equal to, it is 1 over 3 pi r squared times height. That means we need to calculate the radius of this cone, the radius of the base of the cone, and we'll need to calculate the height. How do we get these? We can use the curved surface area value, 196 over 25 pi. The curved surface area on the cone is the same as area of the sector. So let's use that. So we can say area of sector is basically equal to 196 over 25 pi. And area of sector can be calculated this way. So it represents 160 degrees out of 360 as a ratio of the entire circle times the area of the circle as pi r squared. Now, r here is different. Here, the radius is different than the radius of the base of the cone. We can call this capital R for now. So pi capital R squared. And this is equal to 196 over 25 pi. From here, we can calculate the capital R value, the radius of the sector, or you can also say the slant height of the cone. This is also R. R squared is equal to, we can cancel the pi's on both sides. So 196 over 25 times 360 over 160. And then our value would be square rooting this. And this gives us 4.2. 4.2 radius of the sector is 4.2 centimeters. Okay, we found the radius. Still need to find the radius of the base of the cone. There's another thing we can link between the sector and the cone. This curved arc length of the sector is the same as the circumference of the base of the cone. It's the same. So we can link those two. So we can say sector arc length is equal to circumference of base area of the cone. So how do we calculate the sector arc length? We can say it is 160 by 360 times 2 pi r. So 160 over 360 times 2 pi capital R is equal to the circumference of the base of the cone is just 2 pi small r, 2 pi r. From here, we can cancel 2 pi's, and we know the value of capital R, which is 4.2. So we can say, therefore, small r is equal to 160 over 360 times 4.2. This gives us 28 over 15, and in decimals, this is 1.866. Since we need to calculate the final answer into 3 significant figures, let's use 4 significant figures now. 1.866 centimeters. That's the radius of the base of the cone. So we found the R value to calculate the volume. We need to calculate the height. To find the height, we can use the right triangle of the cone. So this is the right triangle. We know the radius. We know the slant height. The slant height is capital R. The hypotenuse, basically, is capital R. And we can calculate the height from this. We can form a Pythagoras equation. H squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared minus the other side squared. Capital R squared minus R squared. Yes. Okay, so H is equal to square root of 4.2 squared minus 28 by 15 squared. And this gives us 3.762 centimeters to 4 significant figures. That's the height. Okay, now we have everything to calculate the volume. So volume of the cone is equal to 1 over 3 pi r squared h. 1 over 3 times pi times r is 28 over 15 squared times height is 3.762. This gives us 13.72 centimeter cubed, which can be rounded to 13.7 centimeter cubed to 3 significant figures. And this is the volume of the cone, 13.7 centimeter cubed. Now let's look at question number 10. F and g are two functions such that f of x is equal to x squared plus 2x, where x has to be greater than minus 1. G of x is equal to 13 over x plus 2. Okay, we've got two functions. Question A, state the value of x that must be excluded from any domain of g. If we make the denominator 0, the function would be invalid. So what do we need to substitute in place of x to make the denominator become 0? It would be minus 2. Minus 2 plus 2 would become 0. So x cannot be equal to minus 2. We'll write down the function g of x is equal to 13 over x plus 2, but x cannot be equal to minus 2. If it's minus 2, then the denominator becomes 0 and the function becomes undefined. B, find f of 3. So we just need to substitute 3 in place of x for f of x. So that becomes 3 squared plus 2 times 3, which is 9 plus 6, which is 15. 15 is the answer for B. C, find the value of x for which g of x is equal to 5. So we'll say g of x is equal to 5, and then we'll substitute the function g of x. We'll say 13 over x plus 2 is equal to 5. Is equal to 5, and then we'll move x plus 2 to the other side. 13 is equal to 5x plus 10. Then 5x is equal to, we'll move 10 to the other side, becomes 13 minus 10, 3. And then finally, x is equal to 3 over 5. And that's the answer. Question D, find f of g of 24. So d f of g of 24. So let's find what g of 24 is first. So we need to substitute 24 in this function. So we can say f of, within the function f, we will substitute 13 over x plus 2. 13 over 24 plus 2. And this gives us f of 13 over 26, which is half. Okay, now we need to substitute half in function f. So x squared plus 2x would become half squared plus 2 times half. And this becomes 1 over 4 plus 1, which is 5 over 4. That is question D. Now let's look at E. Find the value of x for which g of f of x is equal to 4. So let's write that down. G of f of x is equal to 4. Now let's replace g of f of x with the actual expressions. This becomes g of x squared plus 2x equals 4. So now we'll apply the function g. In place of x here, we will substitute the input given in the bracket. So this becomes 13 over x plus 2. So 13 over, in place of x, we'll say x squared plus 2x plus 2. And that's equal to 4. And we need to solve for x. We need to show the working clearly. So we'll move the quadratic to the other side. So 13 is equal to 4x squared plus 8x plus 8. We'll move all the terms to one side. So 4x squared plus 8x plus 8 minus 13 would be minus 5 equal to 0. Then we can factorize this. So there's a method of factorizing called splitting the middle term. So what do? We take a value and c value, we multiply them. This gives us negative 20. And we need to think of the factors of negative 20, which add up to 8. So what could they be? 4 times 5, they don't add up to 8. 10 times 2, yes, they do. So if we have plus 10 and negative 2, if we multiply 10 and negative 2, we get minus 20, yes. If we add 10 and minus 2, we get 8. So this works. Okay, so we'll say 4x squared. We can pair minus 2 and 4x squared together. So 4x squared minus 2x, and then the next term would be plus 10x. And this way, minus 2x plus 10x is basically equal to 8x. But we have split the terms, and we have minus 5 equal to 0. The reason we've done this is to factor them out. I will factor something out from the first two terms, and we'll factor something out from the last two terms. So what can we factor out from the first two terms? We can factor out 2x. What remains is 2x minus 1. What can we factor out from the last two terms? We can factor out 5 plus 5. If we do this, 2x minus 1 remains equal to 0. And now we can see we have two terms added to each other, and we have the bracket that is common. So we can factor the bracket out, 2x minus 1. What remains is 2x plus 5. So this way we have factorized the quadratic. So that means x can be half, or x can be equal to minus 5 over 2. Let's check the functions again, whether negative values are acceptable. The function of x says that x has to be greater than minus 1. X less than minus 1 is not possible. So because of that, we'll have to reject the second answer. X equals minus 5 over 2 is rejected because this is less than minus 1. It's minus 2.5. So the only answer is x equals half. So we have one more question remaining here, question number F. The question says, the function h, a new function, is such that h of x is equal to a quadratic 5x squared minus 10x minus 4 where x should be greater than or equal to 1, we need to find the inverse of h of x. So this is question F. We will say let y is equal to the quadratic 5x squared minus 10x minus, since we need to find the inverse of this, we'll try to make x the subject of the equation. Because this is a quadratic in this form, which has two x terms, we need to complete the square. So let's try and complete the square. We can move minus 4 to the other side. So this becomes y plus 4 equals 5x squared minus 10x. And we should also factor out any coefficient that we have on x squared. So that becomes 5 times x squared minus 2x. So let's start completing the square. We'll complete the square for the bracket only. So x squared minus 2x will become x minus, we'll have to divide minus 2 by 2. So we'll get 1. And we'll have to square this, the whole squared. And then we'll have to subtract the square of the second term, minus 1 squared. And we have completed the square. We just need to simplify this. So y plus 4 is equal to 5 times x minus 1 the whole squared minus 1. And then we can multiply 5 into the bracket. Y plus 4 is equal to 5 times bracket x minus 1 the whole squared. And then we'll have to multiply 5 with minus 1, becomes minus 5. Now we can try and make x the subject of the equation. So 5x minus 1 the whole squared is equal to y plus 4 plus 5 is 9, y plus 9. Then x minus 1 the whole squared is equal to y plus 9 over 5. Then finally, x is equal to square root of y plus 9 over 5. And if we send minus 1 to the other side, it becomes plus 1. Since x has to be greater than or equal to 1, we cannot include plus or minus sign here. If we have minus sign here, that would mean that the overall value will be less than 1. Because there's plus 1 here, 1 minus anything will make the x value less than 1. That's why we'll be rejecting the negative answer. We'll just keep the positive answer. So x is equal to square root of y plus 9 over 5 plus 1. Then we can say, therefore, the inverse of h is equal to square root, or we can say 1 plus square root of x plus 9 over 5. But they want the answer written in a specific way, this way. So h inverse colon x is such that 1 plus square root of x plus 9 over 5. And that's the answer. Question 11. Solve the simultaneous equations x minus y equals 5. The next one is 2x squared plus y squared plus 2xy equals 85. We need to solve the values of x and y. So first one, x minus y equals 5. Let's make y the subject of the equation. So y is equal to x minus 5. Let's call this equation 1. And we have equation 2, which is 2x squared plus y squared plus 2xy equals 85. So we will do substitution. We'll substitute equation 1 into equation 2. Let's write down equation 2, 2x squared plus x minus 5 the whole squared plus 2x times x minus 5 is equal to 85. Let's expand this. So 2x squared plus x squared minus 5 times x times 2 is minus 10x. Minus 5 times minus 5 is plus 25. Okay, plus the next one is 2x times x, 2x squared, and then 2x times minus 5 is minus 10x equals 85. So let's add all the like terms together. So we have 3x squared terms, 2x squared, x squared, and 2x squared. If we add them together, we get 5x squared, we have a couple of x terms, minus 10x minus 10x, that is minus 20x. And we have two constant terms, the number terms. We can bring 85 to this side, so that'll be minus 85 plus 25, which is minus 60 equals to 0. From here, we can simplify. We can divide all the terms by 5, so it becomes x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals to 0. And to factorize this, I think we can simply do two brackets. If this is x squared, the first terms of the brackets are going to be x. And then the signs, because we have minus minus here, one bracket will be plus, the other bracket will be minus. Factors of minus 12 that add to become minus 4 would be minus 6 and plus 2. If we multiply these two, we get minus 12. If we add these two, we get minus 4. So these work. So we'll have plus 2 in one bracket, minus 6 in the other. Okay, x is equal to minus 2 or x is equal to 6. We've only solved for the values of x. We need to find the corresponding values of y. We can use equation 1. Equation 1, if x is equal to minus 2, y is equal to minus 2 minus 5, which is minus 7. And this leads to coordinates minus 2 comma minus 7. That's the first set of answers. If x is equal to 6, y is equal to x minus 5, which is 6 minus 5, and we get 1. And this leads to coordinates 6 comma 1. And that's the answer. Okay, let's look at question 12. So we need to simplify this equation. It says, find an expression for w in terms of a. Give your answer in the form na plus m, where n and m are integers. So we can see w over here. We need to make w the subject. And on the other side, we can have a terms. Let's write down the equation first. 35 times cube root of 25. We can change the form to exponent form. So 25 to the power 6 times 2a minus 3 divided by 3. Because cube root of x is equal to x to the power 1 over 3. That's the numerator. The denominator would be 7 times 25 2a plus 1. Equals to 5 to the power w. What can we cancel on the left-hand side? We can divide 35 with 7, and we get 5. So it becomes 5 times 25. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 bracket 2a minus 3. 25 to the power 2a plus 1. We can do one more thing. We can try and make all the bases the same. So right now, the bases are 5 and 25. We can convert 25 to 5. Since 25 can be written as 5 squared, we can say 5 times bracket 5 squared to the power 2 times 2a minus 3 divided by bracket 5 squared to the power 2a plus 1 is equal to 5 to the power w. We can get rid of the bracket. So if we have 5 to the power x in brackets, and if we have another power on top of this bracket to the power n, we have to multiply these two powers, and this ends up becoming 5 to the power x times n. So just like that, here it becomes 5 to the power 2 times 2, which is 4, bracket 2a minus 3, divided by 5 to the power 4a. 2 times 2a is 4a, 2 times 1 is 2, 4a plus 2. And all of this equals 5 to the power w. Okay, on the left-hand side, we have 3 bases, which have 5. We can join them together. So this 5 has a power of 1. So we can use the laws of exponent. We can add the powers. If the bases are the same, and if they're multiplied, we can add the powers. If they're divided, we can subtract the powers. So we'll say this is 5 to the power 1 plus. Let's multiply 4 into the bracket. So 4 times 2a is 8a. 4 times minus 3 is minus 12. If we bring the denominator to the top, we need to subtract the powers 4a plus 2, so that it becomes minus 4a minus 2. And this is equal to 5 to the power w. Now, we only have one term on each side. So both the terms have the same base. We can get rid of the base. So we just need to solve the powers. The power on the left-hand side is 8a minus 4a. That becomes 4a. And if we add up all the numbers, 1 minus 12 is minus 11. Minus 11 minus 2 is minus 13. So 4a minus 13 is equal to w. And that's the answer. W is equal to 4a minus 13. And this is the end of June 2024 Mathematics B Paper 2R.